Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran, but has not made a final decision on whether to strike the country, the BBC's U.S. partner CBS reports. The U.S. president held off from initiating strikes in case Iran agreed to abandon its nuclear program, a senior intelligence source told CBS. Trump is reportedly considering a U.S. strike on Fordow, an underground uranium enrichment facility in Iran. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Wednesday rejected Trump's demand for unconditional surrender, as the U.S. president said his patience had run out. On Wednesday, Trump said, "I may do it, I may not do it," when asked a question about U.S. involvement in Iran. Khamenei rebuked Trump in Wednesday's recorded speech, saying that any U.S. military intervention would be costly, and added, "The Iranian nation will not surrender." It was Khamenei's first appearance since Israel launched what it described as preemptive strikes on Friday. Trump brushed off the rejection, saying, "Good luck," but again declined to disclose his plans. "I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do," he said. "Unconditional surrender. That means I've had it." The news of Trump backing strike plans was first reported by the Wall Street Journal. Iran's mission to the United Nations mocked Trump in posts on X. Iran does not negotiate under duress, shall not accept peace under duress, and certainly not with a has-been warmonger clinging to relevance. No Iranian official has ever asked to grovel at the gates of the White House, it added. The only thing more despicable than his lies is his cowardly threat to take out Iran's supreme leader. The war of words came as Iranians continued to jam roads out of the capital Tehran, a city of 10 million people seeking sanctuary from Israeli attacks. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, said in a video on Wednesday that his country's forces were progressing step by step towards eliminating threats posed by Iran's nuclear sites and ballistic missile arsenal. "We control the skies over Tehran. We are striking with tremendous force at the regime of the Ayatollahs. We are hitting the nuclear sites, the missiles, the headquarters, the symbols of the regime," he said. Pete Hegseth, Trump's defense secretary, told a Senate committee that the Pentagon was prepared to execute any order given by Trump. His comments came amid a buildup of American forces in the Middle East. A carrier strike group led by the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier was steaming from Southeast Asia to join another strike group led by the USS Carl Vinson, already in the Gulf. Various air assets, including refueling tankers, were also seen on flight trackers moving from Europe, with reports of F-22 and F-35 strike aircraft following. The U.S. State Department said Secretary of State Marco Rubio would meet UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy in Washington, D.C. on Thursday for talks expected to focus on Iran. The BBC understands that, so far, the U.S. has not made a formal request to use the UK's military bases in Diego Garcia or Cyprus to conduct strikes against Iran. Normally, the U.S. would first inform its ally if it intended to conduct offensive operations from those bases. A British source said it was believed all options were on the table in Washington, but there was no complete picture of America's intent. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem on Wednesday issued an evacuation plan for American citizens currently in Israel. It was unclear how many Americans were seeking to leave Israel, or whether the U.S. military would assist with the evacuation flights. Since it launched its attack on Friday, Israel's strikes on Iran have killed 585 people, according to Washington, D.C.-based group Human Rights Activists, which said that 239 were civilians and 126 were security personnel. In retaliation, Iran has fired around 400 missiles at Israel, killing 24 people, all of them civilians, according to Israeli authorities. Meanwhile, Iranian state TV warned viewers to ignore an irrelevant clip calling for the public to rise up against the regime after an apparent hack of its satellite feed. If you notice irrelevant messages while watching TV, it is due to the enemy jamming satellite signals, state TV said. Hackers apparently broke in and broadcast a video that accused the Iranian establishment of failing its own people, called on viewers to take control of your future. It featured several clips of mass protests against the regime in 2022. Trump claims he spoke with Putin yesterday, saying he offered to help as a mediator. I told him, do me a favor, be a mediator in your own country. Let's deal with Russia first, okay? Vladimir, let's sort out Russia before anything else. Then you can handle the rest. A lot of people have died, far more than what's being reported from Ukraine and Russia. An Iranian missile barrage has struck several sites across Israel, damaging a hospital in the country's south. And Israel has attacked Iran's Arak heavy water nuclear reactor as the two countries trade fire for a 7th consecutive day. At least 240 people were wounded in the Iranian attacks, including 4 seriously, according to Israel's health ministry. The majority were lightly wounded, including 70 at the Soroka Medical Center in the city of Beersheba, in southern Israel. Iran said it was targeting a military site in the attack. Iranian projectiles made impacts in at least 6 other locations, including in Tel Aviv and 2 of its districts. Holon and Ramat Gan, according to local media reports. The Israeli army said its fighter jets struck dozens of sites in Iran, including Natanz and the heavy water nuclear reactor, which was originally called Arak and is now named Kondab. The military said it specifically targeted the structure of the reactor's core seal, which is a key component in plutonium production. Iranian media reported air defenses were activated in the area of the Kondab nuclear facility, and 2 projectiles hit an area close to it. Officials told Iranian state TV that evacuations were made before the strikes and no risk of radiation or casualties was detected. There was no mention of any damage. An Israeli military spokesperson later said that fighter jets had struck the Bushehr nuclear power plant located on Iran's Gulf Coast, the Reuters news agency reported. But an Israeli military official later said the statement was a mistake and said he could not confirm or deny if the facility had been targeted. The escalation comes 7 days after Israel launched a major attack on Iranian military facilities and nuclear sites, killing senior military officials and top nuclear scientists. Iran responded to that attack by launching waves of missiles at targets in Israel, and the conflict quickly widened with strikes on targets in residential areas and oil and gas facilities. Iran has fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel, although most have been shot down by Israel's multi-tiered air defenses. The Soroka Medical Center, which has more than 1,000 beds and provides services to about 1 million residents of southern Israel, said in a statement there was extensive damage in several areas of the hospital, and the emergency room was treating several minor injuries. The hospital was closed to all new patients except for life-threatening cases. Many hospitals in Israel have activated emergency plans in the past week, converting underground parking to hospital floors and moving patients underground, especially those who are on ventilators or are difficult to move quickly. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned the Iranian leaders they would pay a heavy price for the attack, and Defense Minister Israel Katz threatened to eliminate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Such a person is forbidden to exist, Katz said in a statement cited by the Yedioth Ahronoth newspaper. The Iranian news agency RNA said the main target of the Beersheba attack was the large Israeli Army Command and Intelligence, IDF C4I headquarters, and the military intelligence camp in the Gav Yam Technology Park. The facility is next to the Soroka Medical Center, it said, claiming the health facility suffered only minor damage from the shockwave resulting from the missile strike. Tight military censorship in Israel means information about sites such as military and intelligence facilities are not released to the public. According to Israeli media reports, a building next to the hospital described as sensitive sustained heavy damage. Ori Goldberg, an Israeli political commentator, told Al Jazeera that Israeli authorities were focusing on the hospital attack and trying to send a message that the Iranians target hospitals. Of course, Israelis target hospitals as well. It's important to mention that there really are very sensitive installations and headquarters very near to the hospital because Israel places its military headquarters in the midst of civilian neighborhoods and towns, he added, speaking from Tel Aviv. Iranian state TV, meanwhile, reported the attack on the Arak site, saying there was no radiation danger whatsoever. An Iranian state television reporter, speaking live in the nearby town of Kondab, said the facility had been evacuated and there was no damage to civilian areas around the reactor. Israel had warned earlier on Thursday morning that it would attack the facility and urged the public to leave. The Israeli military said its latest round of airstrikes also targeted Tehran and other areas of Iran, without elaborating.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.